And that's why they're doing the things they're doing. They're upset because the game is not working. So it's,
Well, excuse me.
Yeah.
Speaking of the scribes and Pharisees, one of the things that I try to do before Saturday is I'll check my normal hangouts, and see if there's anything new anywhere, and do some search engine checks too, see if there's anything new there. And it ain't nothing new. I mean, it's something that I've seen before and been up on your search engine results for a while. This website called Justia. It's a legal website. It has to do with lawsuits, where you look up case numbers and all that, and it'll give you dates of filings and stuff. And I didn't know. I had seen it before and seen some stuff added to it that looks like it happened about the middle of April, April 12th and April 11th. April 11th is showing an order. All these are, formal court motions here. An order granting in part and also denying in part a motion for summary judgment that was signed by the judge on the 11th. Did you know about that?
Yeah, he had the opportunity to do the honest thing and set this straight by doing a summary judgment, because the lawsuit was completely frivolous. It was based on ridiculous things, but it was totally frivolous, and I submitted all the information that was needed to make that kind of decision. But I also pointed out that using violation of the Arkansas Fair Trade Act, it was just ridiculous, because you cannot use that in a lawsuit. It's only something that the Attorney General office can do. The state Attorney General. And this is all. He brought this up. The plaintiff attorney brought that up, and that doesn't make any sense, because he's not authority to claim that. And that's the only thing that was allowed in the summary judgment. Was allowed. Of course, that was violation of the law. So it was allowed. But then he wouldn't go for the summary judgment, because they wanted to have the lawsuit. That's the only way they could coerce me into giving vital corporate information. And then they expected me to refuse. And then, she's in contempt of court, or we're going to throw her in jail. Do the Susan McDougal trick. I know that's what was coming down the line, because as long as I'm alive, and I guess they're not planning to kill me yet. Anyway, why kill somebody if you... you can kill a person in many ways, just not actually. You can ruin them financially, destroy their business, and so you still kill the person, and that's why. But they also have a suspicion that as long as I'm alive, in one way or another, I'm going to continue this. But that's what a thought on the mind is. Okay, let's pull the Susan McDougal thing, an excuse to throw her in jail and force her to testify. So it's just a bunch of malarkey. Arkansas is famous for that kind of behavior, so... Well, too bad.
And then the only other thing was like the very next day, because this thing, the summary judgment order was written on the 11th, and then it was on the 12th, an order directing the defendant as proceeding and sent copies of course anyway.
Okay, we got a break coming up. I can tell you what that is about. We got a break coming up, so we're going to continue after the break. Okay. We are back again from another break, and before this last break, we were discussing the what was posted on that legal website about the case and the decision. Right.
Can I interrupt you? Important.
Yeah, go ahead. That's what I was... There's a delay between the time that it's transmitted and the time players actually pick it up. That's 5 minutes or what. Whenever we go to commercial break, I can always turn on media and catch the live and play it. Yeah. I keep losing your voice. I keep losing your voice. I don't know.
I'm talking about stepped on. You got jammed. Somebody tried to damn your signal, and it didn't happen until I started talking like court stuff.
Okay, all right. We are having a problem with the communication. Arnie's phone has got a problem. I don't know what it is, and I hope nobody's interfering. We start talking about the court case. But anyway, what I wanted to point out is that because I found that my attorney had enough issues that he could present to get the case dismissed, and he never did it, and he only made the situation worse, made me spend more, made the company spend more and more money and not doing what needed to be done. So I fired him, and then I communicated to the court that he was fired for not doing his job, and he should have pushed this and that issue. But at the bottom of all of this is the court has no jurisdiction at all over me or over Lase Med Inc. The only jurisdiction that it had was a corporation that was an independent S corporation that no longer exists, and it stopped existing even before the filing of the lawsuit. They can do that, but what the case they were presenting was something that only the Attorney General's office should have introduced. Okay, so they dropped that, but they say, oh, well, it's still fraud, and it's still, which is not, because I submitted a copy of a record that say otherwise. It's still a fraud, and it should still need to be compensated. Oh, a bunch of malarkey. But what I'm saying is, and what they're saying is that I have to, I can represent myself, but for the corporation I have to hire another lawyer, and I have only time till May 7. And it's not going to happen. I spend enough money for people double-cross him and stab me in the back. That's enough. You see, in the mock trial, we are representing a lawyer that is actually protecting my case, but actually, in reality, that's not what's happening. And that's what we did. I decided that was just about enough is enough. They're going to go ahead with their nonsense. They are going to award the woman who knows what kind of money, but then how they're going to collect. I don't recognize that court. And how they're going to collect it. They're going to try their best, but there are no assets that they can go after. So, and they already know that, by the way, because they have been investigating and searching, trying to find assets. There aren't any. I am doing everything on a shoestring. I offer something because people need it. They need to be aware of what's out there and what they can do. They don't have to suffer. They don't have to be perennially scared of cancer. They don't have to be mutilated. They don't have to be poisoned. They don't have to have their health totally ruined. They don't have to be financially ruined to pay for even just the copay and the insurance, because then the insurance goes up. It's just a mess. They don't have to do any of that. It's really simple. And the solution is here. We have it. And we charge what we need to stay afloat. There are no assets of any kind. There never have been. It was just struggle. We did it with nothing. Just the value or the science behind what we're doing and our determination to bring it forward. So can do what they want, but it's just disgusting though that something like this has had to happen. And it's such a biased court, and then of course it's all for the interest of the medical, the interest of the drug company, the interest of the research industry. Okay, I got the notice that the phone system has been fixed, I hope, but Arnie's back on the line. Okay, let's hear from Arnie.
Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you now. Did you change phone?
Yeah, that's kind of unusual. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to make of that, but when you came back from commercial break, I was trying to tell you about it, because right before break, or right after the break began, there's a delay.
Yeah.
I was turning up the media player to listen to the last 5 minutes or so, and it was all broken up and stepped on, almost like like a broken up cell phone signal.
Oh, jeez.
So we'll never know if that was intentional or not. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, so basically there wasn't any discussion of the court case that could be heard, right? That's
my impression. I won't be able to tell until till I can listen to a playback. But I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't even go there. I don't know. But,
yeah. But yeah.
What is that song? I got friends in low places.
Yeah. Well, we discussed what the court is deciding, which is an absolute nonsense. We have filed, just in case, let me repeat it. We have filed for a summary judgment because the lawsuit was totally what they call a frivolous. Actually, was phony, dishonest, full of lies. And we submitted the evidence of that, evidence that the treatment actually works, all sorts of information. But also I submitted the fact that they are the plaintiff attorney, Barrister Hiss, was claiming that I was violating the Arkansas Fair Trade Act, so I had to be attacked on that one. And then I presented that does not apply to the case at all because it's only something that the Attorney General's office can handle. And what comes out of it is that if they find that the claims complaints are correct, then they close you down. Well, the company that was operating in Arkansas has been closed down. We closed it down 2 years ago, intentionally to get out of the state. So it's all nonsense. Anyway, that was dismissed, but everything else it wasn't. So that's what we talked about in case it was not heard. But anyway, that's enough. Okay, what's next?
Well, tell me. I don't know. But
I don't know what's going to happen. Well, I know what's going to happen next. I already told you what's going to happen next is I am not going there. They say I can represent myself, but I have to have another attorney. It's not going to happen. And I said I don't recognize the authority. I'm beyond the jurisdiction of the courts. And the Lase Med Inc. is way beyond the jurisdiction. It's 2,000 miles away. But so am I. And so the court has no authority. Whatever they decide is insignificant. They have no authority. And that's the end of it. And of course they don't like it because, as I said, they want me there so they can grill me on information they have no right to access. And that's not going to happen. And this is not Susan McDougal, okay? So